Jake and I selected every single game this year before the season began. Before the season began for week one, and then going week by week for the rest of the season. So I'm ready to hear where Jake's sitting at now because I had a fairly decent lead about 5 weeks ago, and then we took our winter breaks from college, and it screwed everything up. But we're finally back here talking to each other again, and I have no idea if he's about to have the lead over me or not. So we've got 272 games that we both picked this season, and I'm excited to see, at least headed into the playoffs, where we sit, if there's any way one of us can overtake the other, and just what's going on. So, Jake, I don't really care how you presented, if you want to talk about like the last 5 weeks really quickly, or if you just want to get right
Well,
into where you're sitting at now.
I mean, we could talk about the last 5 weeks pretty quickly, just going over locks and upsets and overall records. So 5 weeks ago, would that be week
Week
14
14?
then? Week
Yeah.
14. I finished week 14 10-4, 1-2 in my upsets, and lost my lock.
Okay. Week 14 for me, I was 7-7, so worse than you. Bad start. 1-5 in my upsets, and 1-0 in my lock.
Okay. Hold on. I might have to do some quick math here for my week 15 game because I did not
Okay, I'll go.
write
I'll
down
tell you
the
mine then.
total.
Week 15 was my only what I would consider good week of the last 5 weeks of the season. I went 10-6 in week 15. I was 1-3 in my upsets, and 1-0 in my locks. But I can say the last 3 weeks of the season, if you did well in the last 3 weeks of the season, my last 3 weeks were not too impressive, and then bad. So, what did you have for week 15?
For week 15, I went oh or no, sorry. I went
That would be bad.
I was going to my upsets first. I went 1-3 in my upsets. I went 9-7 overall, and I got my lock right.
Okay. Okay. So you one worse than me in week 15. That's okay though. How about, do you have your stuff ready for week 16 and 17,
I
18?
I do have my stuff ready for weeks 16. For week 16, I went 12-4.
Oh my god.
I I went for my upsets. To I went 3-1, and I lost my lock.
Wow. Really? Lost the lock that week.
hmm
You have any idea who your lock was?
It was Seattle or Chicago at Seattle. I locked
Oh
Seattle.
my god. Oh, that's funny. Um okay. I was 9-7, 1-2 in locks, and 0-1, or sorry, 1-2 in upsets, and 0-1 in my locks. Week 17, I also only went 9-7, 0-3 in my upsets, and 0-1 in my lock.
Week 17, I went 11-5.
Oh my god.
I I went for my upsets. I went 1-2, and I got my lock right.
Did you have a good week 18?
Eh,
Okay,
eh.
well, it's still going to be better than mine, which means I think that you were like 11 games behind me at the week 14 mark, and I think you're about to be ahead of me after I tell you this. I was 6-10 in week 18, 0-3 in my upsets, and I did get my lock correct though because I just picked against the New York Giants, so that was fairly easy.
Oh, that you and I had the same exact lock then. Um, but I went 10-6 and went 1-2 in my ups or no 2-2 in my upset. Sorry, and got my lock right.
Okay. So, sorry, overall record for the week again?
10-6.
Yep. I'm assuming you're about to be ahead of me. Okay. What is your win loss tie total for the season?
161, 110, and 1.
158 and 113 and 1.
Ooh, baby.
So now I definitely have to pick against you for playoff games. Wow. Okay. And our tiebreaker is locks. That's what we agreed on at the beginning of the season, not upsets. Upsets is the third tiebreaker. So what are your locks at?
My locks are at 10 and 8.
And I'm 9-9 there. Jeez, not in a good position. And even my upsets in the final 5 weeks are really what killed me. Because if you were paying attention, 1-5, 1-3, and then I had those 2 weeks back to back. So I went with the minimum locks for the last 3 weeks of the season. And in the last 3 weeks of the season, even selecting the minimum number of locks, I went 1-8 in total in the last 3 weeks of the season. So I really screwed up picking bad locks. Bad upsets for the end of the year. So this is going to be interesting to see where we sit for Wild Card Divisional Championship and Super Bowl, because boy oh boy, I mean at the very least that means I have to pick 2 upsets this weekend if you pick the favorite in 3.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, if you pick the favorite in every one. I feel like to catch up for me to have a chance. I feel like that's possible too, but I don't even know which ones I'm going to go with yet. So this was very important.
Well, what did you finish in upsets?
29-44.
Oh, wow. I even have you beat there. 30, 39, and 1.
You had an upset for that game and finished in a tie? Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I should have known. Why would you pick? Yeah. No, yeah, of course you picked the Lions. What am I saying? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's one place I can be safe. All right. Well, then this leads us into a very interesting playoffs. If you're interested in seeing how the playoffs play out and seeing if I can come back and beat Jake in terms of win-loss total, and really what I'll actually probably have to do is just end up tying him, because I don't know how I'm going to grab 4 games in the playoffs. That seems nearly impossible. But yeah, we'll see how it is. Thanks for watching this, and stay tuned.